Okay, I haven't been on live in a while, and I was going to do this off, whatever, not live, but I thought, what the heck, I haven't been on for a while, let's try this out. So these are a couple different colors of foil from a 5-color pack that I just bought. I was trying to think if it was 4 or 5 colors. And it has this different type of patterning to it. It's more, I don't know, it's like this refraction kind of directional type of holographic, and it is crazy to say the least. But I guess we're into crazy these days. At least I am. It looks like spotlights or something, doesn't it? But I thought that would be pretty interesting for kind of a Northern Lights type of thing. Hello, Diana. How are you? Good to see you. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to try this in red, and I don't know if this is the gold or yellow, or I don't know what color that one is referencing or whatever. But okay, so this paper, one of the things that I found is that it's not 8.5 by 11. So when I started trimming stuff down, it's like, what the heck? These are all kind of different sizes right here. And it's because it's a different size, and I find that that's the case with some of these types of foil packs. So if you start trimming it down, just be aware of that, and take a look at the dimensions before you do it, unlike what I did. But I know there's so many different types in there. But this one came out a little bit longer, so I thought that would be cool to do because I don't know. It's going with the spirit of these elongated types of patterns in this holographic. It's pretty interesting. Hello, Kay and Rocky Fresh. Good to see you. Okay, so when I was doing these Northern Lights types of things before, I was only using the brilliance because I could blend colors on here and move them around a little bit, okay? You can't do that, of course, with the stays on. And I've come to realize that I think it's just best to stamp out our imagery with the stays on. That way we don't have to worry about it kind of smearing and picking up, if you even just touch it with a finger and, the ink comes right off. So I'm going to create our compositions first here with the stays on, and then we'll go on with the brilliance afterwards, okay? I don't know. Now I'm thinking, well, are we going to even need the brilliance? Because we already have these dark kind of, patterns here. I don't know. Let's just see how it goes here. All right. Hope all of you have been well. Good to see you. Like I said, I've been so busy kind of experimenting and doing these other things of late. I haven't had a chance to get online, but I almost forgot kind of what I was doing with certain types of things, and what I was kind of moving towards in terms of my experiments. I still want to get to some Halloween types of things. The last things were those monster maps. And I don't want to do more monster maps, but I want to do some other types of imagery, maybe using some different surfaces for Halloween scenes or something like that. Maybe some of the new, I don't know, but this type of foil. I don't know if I don't think there was a blue one or something like that. That would be like a nighttime type of sky. But I don't know. I think we could do some pretty interesting things with this. But crazy looking foil, isn't it? Okay, let's see. I'm assuming that this is going to print out like the other holographic foils. Not that one. That one's the Recollections one, but the really, really sealed off chrome coat holographic Rainbow Holographic. I almost forgot the name of it. I haven't been on for so long. Okay, so here's what I've noticed. Okay, look at this with the stays on right here. I've printed this stays on here, and one of the things that I noticed right away is look at that bluish tinge in the impressions themselves right there. What's doing that? I have no idea. It seems to kind of go with the theme of the piece, though. Oh my god, that is so wild looking right there. It's almost like you can't even see the piece right in there. Maybe I'll try this on the other one too, but we might have to go with some bolder imagery with this. Okay, but that being said, see this right here? On this red right here, this is the darkest one, I think, of that foil pack right there. Maybe some darker kind of foreground trees in there would be really good. But I don't know, that is so crazy like that. I don't know, we might be able to use this one for some kind of Halloween types of imagery as long as it's really bold. Kind of sometimes the louder the paper, like this, the surfaces, you have to kind of go with bolder imagery. So kind of more the darker types of big silhouettes in there. Yeah. Okay, so that is that. But that little kind of tinge of that, I don't know, that metallic looking color in there is kind of interesting, isn't it? Okay, here, yeah, let's do it. These cards aren't going to take long to do. Let's do a couple of them. And let's do it on the different colors here. So we can compare, contrast. Hello, Janet. Good to see you. Glad you found that piece that you were looking for. Okay, let's see. Let's go about the same distance down on this one. I've never seen that kind of that impression effect that happened in this right there. Is so unusual that it's almost like a metallic blue, isn't it? Huh. Okay, let's see here. All right. The impressions are, you know, I don't know. They seem fine to me. Look at that. God, that is so crazy. Testing out, you know, to see if, I don't know, this surface here is a viable surface to print on. I don't know. Right here with the how busy it is. You can always do it this way too, okay? And it's more like those kind of striations in the sky or something like that. That's kind of interesting. And remember, I have a lot of these studio lights on, so they might look quite a bit different on, you know, without all those lights. Yeah, okay, so I have some really bright lights on my studio, but when I take them out of it, you can see the imagery much more visibly. You know, the whole thing is kind of more illuminated and you get like less lights on there. I don't know how I can kind of show you guys without flipping off all the electricity here on my table here. Hello, Linda! Okay, so that is that. Now let's add in... okay, let's just stamp everything out right now that we're going to apply on here, and then I'll go in and I'll tone these pieces in. Sorry about the focus here. My camera can't focus with this, I don't know, when we're doing these mirrored types of pieces like this, with all that light reflecting back at my lens. It's really tough, difficult for my camera to pick that up. The mirrored types of pieces. Okay, so I'm adding some reeds down below. I was watching Stamp Wars, and I was asking the people that were watching, or, you know, the people that are stamping really don't have time to kind of monitor the boards. So they have someone reading off the questions and stuff like that. But that's, you know, the message, the live messaging was so fast, it's really hard to keep up with all that. Okay, so we have some of our imagery down below like that. Okay, I don't see, I'm standing right in front of it, I don't see any of that bluish tinge that I got in these, the Lakeside Cove impressions down in the reeds. I don't know why. Maybe on this one right here, maybe I held that down longer, you know, just because it's a bigger stamp. And maybe what happened was some of that dried on there, you know, while I was holding it down. And then as I removed it, I was removing some of the ink on here. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm guessing that's what it is, because these reed stamps go on much faster because it's a smaller image. And I think that these impressions are a little bit thicker. I think that's what's happened right here. I think that I've removed either some of the ink or some of the surface off of this foil. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Okay, so here's what we're going to do with these. These are very busy, Linda, if that's what you're referring to. They are loud, that's for sure. You can use these as like, these are like spotlights or something like that. You can have like a city scape down below here, and these look like, I don't know, like spotlights going up into the sky or something like that to me. Hello, Jennifer. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I wasn't sure if I was going to use this, but I think it really needs to be done. I just think that on some of these surfaces, a lot of times what I do is I do some muting of the surface with white pigment inks, and I'm trying to think if I've done it with black on really loud surfaces before. I guess with the rainbow holographics, but it wasn't really to mute it out, you know, because these, you know, you never get, there's more contrast in this one right here. I mean, this one goes, you know, the darkest right here on this one is that blue that we see right in there. I guess that violet. There's a little bit of a deeper kind of violet. But this one right here, these two right here, it almost looks like it's going to like a 95% black or something. I mean, that looks black right there. Okay. So let's see if we can just tone some of it out, just so we don't get this kind of, you know, everything just reflecting everywhere. Although that's kind of cool in its, you know, in itself. Like if I was stamping something else, that might look kind of interesting, but I think it's a little bit too much for this scenario here, nature. You know, it's like anything but natural. Okay, hey, I got some. Oh, let's see. I guess I have some more of these. I got a new pack of cotton balls. Hello in Perth. Good to see you, Nicole. Okay, so the Brilliance ink. Okay, this if somebody doesn't know, the Brilliance ink is a water-based faster drying. They call it fast drying, but it's faster drying. It's not going to be drying really fast on the foils like this. But it will dry on the foil. We can also heat set it. But if I use this Brilliance on this, I'm almost certainly going to have to spray seal it, okay? That's because this surface right here is very non-porous, and it will just take probably a heat setting, unless I give it like overnight to dry. Okay, but that being said, even after you heat set on something like this, with, you know, Brilliance on something like this, it's probably something where we're going to have to spray seal it. I don't know, I'm surprised all the time these days. I try not to speak in definitives anymore because, I don't know, I keep getting, I don't know, my preconceived notions on certain types of surfaces, like recently with the photo papers and, you know, the printable sticker papers and stuff like that. They didn't work like I thought they would. And, you know, most of the cases they worked even better. So on something like this, I think, you know, to me, I'm guessing that's foil's foil, you know, but it might not be. So I don't know. Let's go in and test it out. Okay, so that being said, I'm going in with this, and I'm going to tone in. It's going to be a sloppy mess. It always is with me and these pieces like this. But the thing about this is, because it doesn't dry so fast for us, I can remove it and manipulate it, okay? And hopefully if I remove some of this black, like in this area, because I stamped this out in the STAZON, if I remove some of the Brilliance ink that's been applied over it, it won't remove the solvent-based STAZON impressions, okay? So we'll see how that goes if I need to do that, okay? So one of the things that I do with this is I apply it, and like I said, it's a hot mess, you know, it's a wet mess, and it stays kind of a wet mess for a while, so I don't see this as an application type of thing, like just applying it and then I'm done. It's kind of applying it, removing some, applying more, and removing until I get kind of the look that I'm going after. And in this case, it's kind of going for those real curtainy looking Northern Lights types of I don't know, patterns, I guess you can say. Okay, so this is really going on really sloppy at times here. It's because I'm dealing with really wet media. A lot of times when we're applying inks or something like that, we're applying it and it's pretty, you know, it's adhering to and transferring onto the paper and it's not going to come off. Okay, but this, it's like dealing with, and imagine you were putting shoe polish on a piece of glass or something like that, okay? And then you're just kind of continually manipulating that wet polish. That's what it feels like to me, okay? So like I said, even though this is designed to be kind of a faster drying pigment ink, it's not a fast drying one on, you know, non-porous surfaces. It's fast drying on something like a glossy cardstock, okay? All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay, now what I'm finding is that, okay, so if I put too much like over my image, if I wipe it off like this, it's coming off the surface of this foil, but it's not removing the Lakeside Cove impression at all, so we're completely safe with that. So like I said, you know, if you do this, I always kind of point this out because it's the same thing for me too. If you do this and it's like, it feels like it's completely out of control, don't worry about it. You know, you just have to keep manipulating it. Sometimes it's like sometimes I do, I don't know, maybe 3 cycles of addition, subtraction, just to kind of get it where I want. And a lot of it is because I just don't do this all the time. So it's kind of getting used to it again. Using, you know, kind of wet media, removing, subtracting, removing, subtracting. Okay. Now see this over here, I've applied a lot of that black over here. It's not even hard to, it's even, okay, there, okay, that's what I'm doing right there. Good, I can show you. See, that's like that. Let me get let me get the angle so where I can show you that black. Okay, see that black that I'm applying right there? It's even hard for me to see it, you know, when I'm looking at it like this because, you know, it's kind of getting obscured, but there it is right there. So I'm doing this kind of vignette right here. And then what I'll do is I'll start to hang these kind of curtainy types of, I don't know, ink formations down like that, you know, to get that type of Northern Lights look. Usually you would do it from the bottom and the top, but I don't do it from the bottom because I would obscure my Lakeside Cove imagery, you know. So these are all these kind of like pseudo Northern Lights looking pieces, okay? I'm not trying for this, you know, that kind of Northern Light type of thing going like this up in the sky, you know, where it's not really on the horizon, but it's up high. I have it starting on my horizon just because, you know, we're stamping. We want to be able to see the imagery that we've stamped out down there. Okay, so this is where I start to try to, what I do is I add some like this. I know I can't even show you guys. Let's see. Okay, can you see that? I add a big blob of it like that. And then what I do is I kind of drag it down like that, okay? And you can do that because it's like smearing this, I don't know, like a shoe polishy application, you know, almost. And then that's not what it feels like. Even though this isn't this is water based. It's not oil based, but it's it's pigmenting, so it's really thick. Okay, now you notice I'm keeping this lid open like this. This Brilliance, I mean it's a fast drying ink, but it's not going to dry like stays on or something like that. So I can leave that cap open like that without any problem. White wouldn't look good on this one, Linda. I don't think. Now on this one right here, see every time I touch the edges like that, I'm removing some of that ink that I've applied. So keep that in mind, when you're doing something like this too. Okay. I'm adding shadows right at the base down here. I might put some across those rocks as well. Like that. I usually don't have to do so much of that. Yeah, white would be if you have like a white light in a scene. But there isn't going to be any white light unless you had like a moon in there or something like that. But a moon would get just completely washed out in something like this. You wouldn't even be able to see it. So, well, I guess you would, but it would be completely subservient to the patterning of this foil, I would think. I don't know. We can give it a try sometime. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, actually, if we had a bunch of clouds in here that were kind of white, and you had kind of this peak, I wouldn't do it vertical like this. I would do it horizontal like this. But, okay, so I'm looking at it up here. Okay, so see that area right in here? Where I have this black, it's interesting that patterning I don't think is really showing through. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, it's like really taming it right there a little bit, or a lot. Okay, so let's just keep adding it in. So you can add this in. Here's the thing that you always want to try to do. This is the thing that I'm always kind of trying to teach people too in my classes and whatnot, or what I'm speaking about in this. It's really try to get multiple tones going from one value through the other ones like this. So we're going from kind of darker to lighter like that. So that's what we want on here. We want some transitions like this so that, you get some of these areas in here getting a little bit obscured. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? But see that right there? I mean, that ray right there, right from right here to right up here really changes, okay, because the amount of ink that you apply, or how much you apply with that, okay? So trying to get those transitions in there. That's why every time you re-ink it, you just kind of start it in those, the edges of your card, and then as it gets drier and drier, you're working your way down like this. Because with each tab, the amount of ink on your applicator gets, less and less and drier or whatnot. So you end up doing a lot of applications in, that dry brushing type of technique right there. So here I've gone in right over that whole thing. And that bar right there, that curtain right there is different from this one right here. It's kind of roughly the same color right there. But this one right here, I've just applied and muted out that tone right there. We're usually trying to make our scenes, whenever we're doing cards and everything like that, scene stamping, whatever, right? We're usually trying to make something look more and more exciting, right? Um, in these cases, like with the really super loud types of surfaces, you're trying to mute them. you know, when we're ever trying to do pieces, and make them less exciting, right? I don't know, exciting, it's a relative term, but I mean, it's less kind of visually loud, But that's the case with these really kind of busy ones like that. Okay, I think we're starting to get a little somewhere. The refraction is different on this, I'm finding. That tone over the top of it is really changing the patterning of it. Here, take a look at this right here. Okay. I think maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I think the things are getting more narrow or something like that. Whatever is causing that kind of that holographic, refracted type of lighting in there. I don't know. I think this black is really influencing it or something. Maybe it's becoming less reflective or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. Okay. I've worked with a lot of holographic pieces, or I've not a lot of holographic brands or anything like that, or different papers, but I've done a lot of holographic scenes, and this one right here, it's definitely the loudest, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to think if it was this one or the see, look at that flame right there. This looks like wildflowers to me, or something like that. Okay, you see that right there? See my curtains kind of coming down? I think this surface to me, I think this ink. Okay, this surface is different than the chrome coat holographic. This ink is drying on here better than it did the holographic chrome coat one. It's more akin to the Recollections one. I think there's a little bit of there's a little bit of a more of a porous surface on this one than this right here, which was completely sealed off. Okay. Edible ink for stamping the tops of cakes. How would you do that, Froggy Fresh? How would you stamp on the top of the cake there? That sounds interesting. Hello, Rhonda. Good to see you. Did I say hello to everyone? Nicole, if anyone else is on, hello to you. Thanks for joining in. I wasn't going to do a live on this one because I ended up, doing a lot of this. It's discovery. It's putting kind of I don't know. I'm trying to put into words kind of my thoughts. Where if I was just doing this on my own, I would just kind of be thinking it. I don't know. It's good to I guess kind of put things into kind of describe things a little bit, but I don't know. Just thinking out loud, I think this surface is definitely taking the ink a lot better. See, like, there's my kind of applications. Let me see if I can get that angle again so you can see what I've done here. Where was the angle? Can't even find it now. Was it like this? Okay, I have to kind of angle it so much so you can see it. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, so see that right there? It's that kind of curtainy thing. That's better than I usually do on my pieces. It's usually a lot sloppier, but because I think it's because it's setting up a lot better. Now I can go in here and I can remove ink. See, that's removing like that, but it's not coming off quite as easily as some other types of surfaces that I've used, okay? I mean, on that one, I kind of pressed into it, you know, harder. But that being said, if this piece dries like this, you still need to spray seal it, okay? I would think, okay, I'm not quite sure. But I'm getting these curtainy things a little bit better than I usually do, and I haven't even gone in and done that kind of reverse kind of removal of ink yet on here. It's kind of like one of those things that's, the more I add, I'm sure up to a point it'd be a little bit too much, but I think the more I add, the better looking this piece seems to be getting. So I'm putting in a little bit more coverage than I thought I would here. Okay, on here I'm going to go from the bottom up like this a little bit, and from the top I'm going from the top down like this, okay? Okay, this is a really bad piece to be doing in a live stream because it's really hard to see, but okay, but I'm going to try to show you guys what this is. Okay, so I've added that in that tapping. Let me see if I can, okay, here. But see those little scrapey little things? That's what I'm getting from going on with the cotton ball, okay? Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a clean cotton ball. So you go with your inked up cotton ball, you kind of come in there like that, okay? But then what you do is you go with the clean cotton ball, and then you go from the clean areas, and then you swipe up or whatever direction you need to, and this lower section I'll be swiping down like that. But you do it in the clean areas like this, and you kind of swipe up, and that's how you get that kind of feathery, kind of curtainy look to it. Although when I was showing you that looks curtainy already like that. You know, this paper is just so loud. I don't know. It just seems like it just inherently has those kind of wispy looks to it because of that. I don't know, those little, I don't know what you'd call them. They're like spotlit. I don't know. I don't know how I'd describe that type of holographic. It looks like laser beams to me or something on that one. I've seen people use this before when I started using the other holographic before. Someone posted a scene on Facebook using this one because I distinctly remember those kind of these laser beamy looking things in here. Okay, so I'm going with the clean one. So you kind of go from the clean area and then you swipe up into those darker applications going down that way, and it just kind of it takes care of kind of the I don't know, the non-graceful or less than graceful applications of that thick ink like that. Okay, let me see it. I can show you. See like that? And then, but I don't only do that. I always go back in one more time over the top of that with some additional ink, and I find that to be a good combination. It's like addition, subtraction, and a little bit of addition again, because sometimes it gets a little bit too distinct with those streaks going back into it. So it's like I don't know, you're just trying to mellow it out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to try to really block out the four corners to give it a really strong vignette and to kind of contain the beast. We want to contain these I don't know, this this untamed paper a little bit, or a lot. From a visual perspective, putting on that vignette is always good for composition, but it's also good for containment, a lot of times. When you have everything kind of going on in there like that. See that, like that? See these beams like that? They kind of peter out right up here. So it's contained within the composition. And when you do something like that too, Oh, I don't know, from a compositional perspective, or I see it as like an emotional perspective too. You're saying that this is a world unto itself. It's not just kind of a snapshot of a greater whole. You're saying that, that your world, like a stage, production or something like that, where there's a set director and things like that, you're saying that there's nothing else that this little area within your whatever dimensions that you're working in, it doesn't need anything else. It's just like this self-contained little world, and you know, it needs for nothing more. As as my illustration professor always kind of described it, as far as what we're trying to do. Now, I mean, we can do something with a kind of a visual narrative where we're doing this book and it's going on to the next page, but you don't want it to feel like, when you're looking at something, something's missing in there. Okay, so I think that is it. Let's take a look and see here. I can't even tell how much I've applied in here, but look at that. Look how mellow that looks right there. And then you go like that. It's like nothing too crazy. I don't know. It makes for kind of a kinesthetic look to me. Okay, let me try something here too now. Maybe this will be our white, that we were talking about in here. Let's go in with the bleed proof white, and let's add in, maybe using a acrylic paint pen or something like that, or gel pen, to add in some stars up here would be better, but let's just make it nice and fast here. I'm going to cover up the bottom portion, or do I want to? Yeah, let's not have, I could splatter paint the whole thing, but let's just keep it up, in the sky here. Okay, so this is some bleed proof white, which is an opaque white watercolor paint. And let's see how this goes. Usually you see photographs of northern lights on a kind of a new moon, a moonless night, just, so that, the northern lights are much more visible, in the completely dark sky. But I always like seeing all those stars in there. It was harder for them to really capture stars back in, the days of film, shooting a film of northern lights, because they usually had to do, a long exposure. So the stars were often, you'd see a little bit of a trail to them. But these days with digital photography and being able to stack photographs and stuff like that, imagery, all the stars are always, in complete crisp focus and whatnot. Okay, so here we go with that. I think that worked out pretty good up in those stars. Oh, okay, look at that. Didn't that help that a lot? Those stars kind of provide a little bit of stability, I think, up there. Everything was just kind of loose and untamed, but now you have this static starry. Oh, there it is right there. I think that was the thing that this piece really needed here, don't you think? Oh my God, that is so awesome. We needed to splatter paint it. We needed to go back to kindergarten days, and look at, yeah, Nicole. This is totally your medium here if you're a calligrapher. It's the bleed proof white. So you can go on here with, the bleed proof white, one of the things about the bleed proof white is over something like a gesso or other types of paint, is that even those tiniest of little splatters in there are really opaque white. So, yeah, it's very visible like that. Oh, goodbye to Linda there. Okay, so I think that worked out really good. I wasn't quite sure what to think about that, but I think that looks really cool like that. Yeah, it's those stars in there. Everything was just too loose like this, you know? It's just untamed, kind of whatever. But now you get that, like that. What's unusual to me is this one's the yellow too. This one's a really light tone. I mean, I didn't add huge amounts of black into it. You know, there's my black again. I'm trying to get that angle. Where's that? Oh, here we go. So that angle right here. See, there's not any black down here, but I mean, I'm just angling this a little bit. There's still the same amount of light coming into this scene, but look how dark you can get with that. I mean, it's not like I'm holding this in the shade or something like that. The lights are completely on it, so I don't know why it looks like that, you know. It looks completely dark, and you know, like that or whatever. I don't know, it's just something with this particular type of holographic. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Now, see, normally I'd have all these kind of fingery types of prints, you know, where I've accidentally touched it and removed ink. But just kind of lightly touching it like this, I don't seem to have any problem with it kind of removing. Even like barely putting my finger over the top, I'd see all these little types of crescents in here. But this one, I don't know, it just seems to be sticking a little bit more. But like I said, you know, I'm going to have to spray seal this, but look how dark that got. I find that space in there really kind of deep too. I feel like the Northern Lights are in, you know, in front of it and really integrated up in that area like that. Okay, so now I'm excited about this one. Okay, I'm not going to do this one right here. This is just too dark right here. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this all with like something bolder, like these trees right here. Okay, let me try to do this one again, but let me just go really bold with this one. And you know, I'll just get this in there. I won't have to do any bottom portion because these ones are going to take care of that darker region down here. It's just going to be already set like that, okay? But I want to, I don't know. Look at that looks right there. It looks so bizarre. Huh. All right. Northern Lights quick scene right here. Let's see how quick I can do this one. All right. Yeah, Rondi, I agree. It's kind of a pseudo. Like I said, I thought it would look like Northern Lights on steroids, you know, when I looked at this paper and thought about using it for that purpose. But I don't know, I found it muted adequately. I don't know, it doesn't seem too hot to me. Okay. Again, with the stays on here, not the brilliance for the impressions. That's one little tweak I've made. I wasn't using stays on at all before. But on the foils for your impressions, I don't know why I didn't. I should have been. I didn't want to clean, I guess, maybe, you know. But I find that the stays on cleans off. For me, so far, it cleans off with water just fine. All right, let's see. Okay, let me try this. I do have to close that one off. All right. Yeah, beam me up, Scotty, huh? Definitely. We do need a UFO, huh, or something, or the Enterprise. E.T. I was watching some videos of E.T., you know, what was it, the 30th anniversary, 25th anniversary shots compared to the original shots. I wasn't aware that they changed a lot of the shots in there, you know, just to update the special effects. I don't know. They didn't want certain effects to look really dated, but to me, I liked some of the older effects better. Okay, adding in a couple of the older trees in here. on one of my tree impressions, I kind of skewed a little bit, you know, so be careful when doing that. If you ever stamp on foils, or if you haven't stamped on foils before, just be aware that when you're stamping on them, you know what I mean, you're not, the surface is not absorbing like any of the ink, maybe a little bit of it. So when you're stamping it out, it's easy to make contact and then do a little bit of I'm doing an exaggerated turn, but it's easy to go like this and go, you know, when you're stamping it out. So just be aware of it. One of the things that someone, I think on the Facebook group was saying is that if you do that on a foil with the StazOn, if you have a StazOn cleaner, she said that it just, you know, it just cleaned right off. You know, she put some StazOn cleaner on a piece of paper towel or something like that and washed, you know, and wiped it right off. Boom, you know, you can start right over again with it. Okay, so there is that. I mean, you know, I guess if you were doing like 20 cards, you know, for kids or something like that, you know, I mean, something like that would be perfectly fine. But, you know, I think it looks better kind of muted out and splatter painted like that. It almost looks like a different paper to me, you know, this one right here. But let's see. Okay, let's see if I can get this one reasonably fast. I don't want to do it so fast that I'm completely, you know, making a huge blunder. But we can always wipe it off. Okay, so I'm gonna come in, I don't know, it's probably like 1.5 inches into the scene from the side, but again, it's transitioning in it, okay? It's not just like all completely dark and then, you know, light. It's more of that transition that I'm going for. And some of them transition a little bit easier than others, okay? I'm not someone that, you know, gets everything perfect every time. Okay, so see that I'm kind of blocking that off right there. Okay, that's where it looks like right there. Okay, it's not smooth though, because you know, I'm gonna go back to that. You know, I'm gonna utilize my drier application to come in there. But see, that looks pretty good right there, though. I think. Come into your trees a little bit and just kind of unify them a little bit like that. If you're in a hurry and you're making a bunch of these or something like that. Something like this on this type of paper, I think. You know, if you're doing it like this size right here, or, you know, doing like these little sizes like this. I do these for like Christmas ornaments. You can do them like on a diagonal like that, have your trees coming up this way, and just kind of darken off a little bit of corners like that. Or you can just stamp some trees in here, I think, and then just splatter paint this top like that. And you can crank out like 20 of these, you know, really fast. I think if you just did that and you didn't do any of the Brilliance ink, I don't think you would need to spray seal. You might need to spray seal that, you know, the bleed proof white on there though, huh? Yeah. Just doing those Halloween pieces, it seemed like not too long ago, but yeah, I guess it's time to start thinking about things like Christmassy types of things, holiday things, huh? But I think this paper like this would really make great gift tags. Gift tags and ornaments, or you can do those things where you make a kind of a gift tag, but then people can use it as an ornament, you know, going forward too. Okay, working on my curtainy types of things. Wet to dry, wet, you know, to dry, like that, okay? I have to keep turning my head like this because I can't see on here, you know, because of the angle, you know, of these beams in here like that. Oh, there it goes like that. There's those kind of real narrow looking beams in there. I want to do one of these in a mirror card too sometime. You know, if you do kind of this toning out like this, it would be kind of cool to have this reflected in a pool down below. And then again, you know, for all of your efforts on something like this, well, this card, I don't know, I don't think it takes that long to do. But in a mirrored situation, you get, you know, kind of double the imagery for your efforts, you know, because it's reflected down below. Unless this is too loud of a surface like that. Okay, so let's go in with that clean piece again. Let me show you where I've gotten to. See that right there? So it's always this kind of rounded kind of look, so I'm going to come back into it like this, okay? And see this right here? I don't know. I did it better than sometimes what I do, but see this rounded area like this? I want this light to kind of go up that way. So let me see if I can show you. Here, let me take this. Let me put it at an angle so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, here we go. There. Okay, so let's see. Can you see that kind of, you know, it's kind of wiping. Maybe doing it with a paper towel would be better or something like that because it can get a little bit more streaky, you know, than just a clean kind of wipe like that. So something with a little bit of texture like this maybe, unless it removes too much. Let's see. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, this is what it is. Okay. Yeah, use a paper towel or something like that. That's better. Because I'm getting these kind of the... Yeah, see those little lines like that in there? That's what you want. And then I'll come back and I'll blend those out a little bit more, okay? But you want some of that. Maybe I should put this into that previous one. Actually, I can't do it on that one. This one right here, I don't think, because I already put the stars in there, splattered them in, okay? But see, this is how you get that real kind of feathery looking light up here, okay? See that right there? Doesn't it look like a flame there now? Like that? And then see, sometimes I get a little bit too much in here, so I go back in, and then you just add this right back over some of it, you know, without obscuring it completely, okay? You don't want to, you know, eradicate the good things that you've added in there. So going like that, and see that right there? See how smooth and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't done these live videos in a while. Kind of at transition, you know, smooth transitions, okay? I want that nice smooth transition in here in terms of all of those textures like that. So see that, there we go with those flames like that. See how it kind of, I don't know, whatever tapered or whatever that is right there. That's what it is. And look at this right here. Look at those little hairs in there. See that right there? That little scrape of your, you know, your paper towel like that, that's those little hairs in there. So when you look at it like this, you know, I think those are the textures that look really good in there like that. Okay, so there it is again. So you see those all the little scrapings like that. But the scrapings can be too much. That's why you go back over it with the paint again, or with the black thing, just kind of smooth those out a little bit. But look at that right there. I think we've got a nice little kind of flame in there, you know, like that, or curtains like that. And that's what we're going after. That's what I was going after, but I didn't know if I'd be able to get it. Okay, so here, let's splatter paint this again. Some of this is going to get over my trees. I'm not going to worry about that. If it goes in front of the trees, they'll say, well, these are stars and it's a little bit of snowfall in there or something like that. Okay, my bleed-proof white is a little bit thick right now, but if you ever splatter paint, don't fill up your whole toothbrush, okay? I'm just putting a little bit of it like this, and not only do I put in just the tip like that, but I also kind of squeeze off, you know, just by pressing this brush into the side here, that excess off. You don't want to get a big blob down there like that, okay? If you do, you just kind of wipe it off, and, you know, you can just go back in and add, you know, some other ink right over the top of it. It's not, this bleed-proof white isn't going to be some kind of thing that you can't get off of this surface right here, even after it dries, okay? If you need to, you can just scrape it right off. Okay, so here we go. And you just kind of pull and release a couple bristles, again, at a time. So, I don't know, I'd be surprised if I'm utilizing like 10, even 10 bristles. So I'm releasing something like that, and I'm going back and releasing. I'm not going like this and just going over the whole thing like that. I might go over more of it if I'm, you know, doing like an 8.5 by 11, you know, scene or something like that, or 11 by 17, you know, but not on these small cards. You want to kind of direct that, whatever, spray pattern a little bit. Something like this would be cool too. You can add in little crystals or something like that if you want to do some crystals in there. That's a little bit too many stars almost, but let's see what that looks like. Actually, it looks too bad. It's what things used to look like before all the city lights, and you can't see anything anymore. You can't see any of the stars, you know, and whatnot. But there we go, like that. Okay, so let's see. Let's add in a couple little bit more prominent stars too. That's a little bit busy up there, but what you can do, I mean, I could remove some of those too if I want to, but instead you just add in kind of a few more prominent ones like this, okay? Do it in the, you know, pattern of your whatever, your favorite constellation. Let's see. There's Orion's belt, sword. Like that. I don't know. If you're an astronomer, don't grade me on that. There's a. Do you see Orion in there? But see those more prominent stars like that? You know, you do those larger ones like that. You can do Cassiopeia or the Big Dipper or something like that. But it kind of breaks up the monotony of that spray pattern in there too. Now I'm wondering if I should have a little bit of a, you know, kind of a, you know, that those stars down here in the lake as a reflection. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. There's some of those larger stars up there. Okay. I don't know. I think these cards are pretty fun. I think it's a pretty good surface that we have, which is good because, you know, I have a whole pack of it. I don't know. It might be... This might be... I'm trying to think if this is more dynamic than the other rainbow holographic in the Northern Lights type of, you know, configuration right here. It certainly is different, you know. But, okay, so let's take some of this Brilliance White again, and I'm putting it on a Q-tip like this, and I'm going to blot this off like so, and then we're going to make some of these stars a little bit more prominent in terms of a texture. Hello, Yvonne, Paulette, whoever else has joined in here. Sorry, I wasn't watching the thing. I was being both puzzled and mesmerized by this surface right here. Puzzled until we got a decent looking piece. Remember, I do listen to my own advice, you know, when I'm doing these cards like this. Like this one, for me, it looked really crazy, you know, and I could barely see anything that was kind of happening on here, just because that surface was just so loud. So for me, I just kept obscuring more and more of it. Okay, I'm adding in some more here because I put my fingerprints in here a little bit. But one of the things that we can do too is see that spray pattern of those stars like that. It's very apparent like this, but you can go over some of it like this with some additional ink, and it mutes out some of those stars. See how those stars right over here are a little bit darker now? Okay. So you get multi, I don't know, valued stars. You know, you have some a little bit more muted, some that are brighter, larger, more textural with the that little glowing kind of haze around it like that, right? Ah, man, that is so dimensional. I'm praising the paper, not my stamping right here. Okay, where did that white go again? If you're doing this with the white, you really have to kind of make sure you really blot. I can't even tell which side I was using here. Okay, it was this one right here. Okay, now remember, if you just joined in, we're going to have to spray seal those, okay? Even when this Brilliance ink dries, okay, it will be prone to, you know, wiping off, I'm sure. Okay, so there's those stars in here. A little bit more from a textural pattern up there. Maybe I made that one glow a little bit too much right there. Look at it, it's not even glowing at all, but then when you put it like that. All right. Froggy Fresh is heading to bed. Good night, Froggy Fresh. Cathiel, this is a holographic foil paper. Okay. And these ones are very specific. I'll put the link in the description later on when I configure the video here. But I do have an unboxing video showing these ones. It comes in a pack of 5 different colors, okay? And I think there's 5 or 6 sheets of each color, 8.5. No, they're not 8.5 by 11. Okay, there are some different size, but almost 8.5 by 11, so full size pieces like that. But yeah, we had to really kind of tone them out. So if anyone's just joined in, I'll show you what I've done on these cards right here. Okay, so you can see, maybe. Okay, there's the ink that's been applied. The images were stamped out in black. And then I've done a lot of toning in with the Brilliance Black, okay? It's just one color, you know what I mean? It's not hard to do. It's going to be a different feel probably than most of you have ever done before, you know, stamping out, applying some kind of wet, thick medium on a surface that's, you know, basically non-porous. So it's just staying on the surface like that. And then, you know, it's a surface that you can go back in and wipe it off. Like if I didn't want any of this black on here, I can still wipe that off cleanly, probably. I don't know, there might be some residual ink on there, but I'd imagine it would wipe off if I really wanted. Look at how this one looks right now. These pieces, these holographics like this and foils in general, they have there's so many different personalities to these things, just depending on the angle you're using. You know what I mean? There's just completely different colors. There was cool colors. Yeah, there's cool colors right there. Now they're hot, you know, it's warm. It's all in the same place like that. See like that? And if you, like I said, if you just joined in, this is what we started with here. This type of surface right here. So we're trying to make this thing usable, okay? That's the whole thing with these really kind of crazy foils like this. The printable vinyls that I've been using lately. Um, it's just, you know, I do scenic stamping. This is a Stampscapes channel. I mean, if I was doing other things, you know, and using other types of other types of drawing, whatever, stamping scenes out or something like that. Here's just some holographic sticker vinyl, okay, with the white in there, okay. But again, you know, all these different colors in here. Now this one, we would normally see that as fairly loud and everything like that, right? You know, in comparison to a white piece of paper like that. Okay. So normally when I'm doing something like this, I'm trying to mute out some areas. So this is using white brilliance down here with colored pencils, okay? But you know, this foil right here makes this holographic look like, I don't know, like a piece of white paper or something like that. That's not very loud at all, right? I mean, the contrast in this one is just so extreme. This one's like pastels or something like that, but we would normally see this as something, you know, fairly loud to work on. But, you know, this is like taking it to the extreme like that. Okay, so that being said, you know, the more kind of extreme the surfaces are, my solutions have always been so far just to kind of mute them out a little bit. And to have that, you know, you don't want to lose the characteristic of it, but we just want to kind of tame it down a little bit. So doing it in the corners like this often kind of does a lot of that. And certainly you want to use kind of your bolder designs on here. If you have kind of open, airy designs like, you know, I don't know, something like this, you know, like rocks or something like that, stamped against that background, we're not going to be able to see it at all. So if you do stamp out something like this, then just tone it in with some black ink in various degrees. Okay, and this one right here, probably even more effective because the trees are really solid like that, so they are in a sense kind of blocking out just inherently within the designs like this. Let's go in this a little bit more. I added in a ton of those stars on this one. Let me just mute some of those out a little bit more. So tame the wild beast, you know, like that, with whatever papers you're working with. A lot of you probably already have these types of surfaces, be it, you know, vinyl or foils in your collections. There's a lot of iridescence and just non-porous surfaces in general that, you know, can probably yield some really great looking effects like that. So see this right here, I've kind of, you don't see some of these stars over here anymore. They're kind of muted. Maybe I blocked them out completely. Yeah, they're a little bit darker out there. So it looks a little bit better, doesn't it? You know, so you just go back in and add in more black ink sometimes. Okay, so there's not really a point of no return with a lot of the processes that we're using on here. We can wipe it off, we can add some more. You know, if you don't like some of those stars are kind of sitting, they're not fragile or anything like that. I can put my finger across them and not going to come off, okay? But if we needed to, I can take a cotton ball or something like that and wipe some of it off because it's just sitting on the surface of this non-porous paper like that. So anyways, yeah, so I'm going to spray this with a Krylon UV crystal clear gloss, okay? But just any type of spray sealant should do the job. I don't know if I would do it with a matte spray, like a workable fixative. It might work, but I don't know if it would mute out some of the that holographic type of effect in there. Yeah. Let's see. The Q-tip star effect. Yeah, the Q-tips really work in here, doesn't it? So the Q-tips, so you change scale when you're doing that too, okay? So sometimes when you splatter paint with this, you get lucky and you get different sizes of dots on that spray pattern inherently. I don't know. I have to have like the right consistency of this. And if you ever get this stuff, you're always adding water to it, but don't add too much where it gets completely, too watery. So I just add a little bit and I kind of mix it up at the top. And, every now and then I put a few more drops in there. So I'm only kind of mixing up the top portion of it. The lower portion of it, you don't need, kind of in solution. But I don't know. I still haven't mastered, kind of the consistency of that. Like a calligrapher would, that's using it in their calligraphy and, their brush, lettering and their dip pen types of things. But so I'm not really quite sure if it's the thinner ones that are giving me the variation. I always thought it was the thicker ones, but sometimes when I go really thick and I'm spraying it like this, it's like a fine mist, so I'm not really quite sure where it is. But that being said, I don't have to get that consistency down too carefully because I can go in and add those larger stars for variation in there. And then again, if you want to go for a textural kind of variation, use the Q-tip in there. Oh, Yvonne, yeah, had to use that holographic. I've been using the holographic cardstocks, but not this one right here. This is like completely new to me. Nicole, if this is what it looks like when you're out camping, I want to go camping where you're camping. I love camping, though, in terms of the lights, but I've never seen like northern lights before. But I love going out camping, like for me, it's like in the local high deserts, like Joshua Tree and the Mojave Deserts and whatnot. Mojave National Preserve is always one of my favorites, and Zaborrego. It's because one of the things is because I could see all the stars, though, like that. Look at this one right here. I think that's me in there. Is that me? That looks like my ear right there. I was saying, oh, there's this warm kind of glow happening on the horizon right there in this piece right there. But I was thinking, oh, I think that's my face, like that. People have a hard time photographing these pieces, but what I always say is if you're photographing your foils and your reflective surfaces like that, just have your hand in there like that and just get the right angle, for when you're, taking a photograph of it. And then you can kind of turn it to get, whatever, if it's the holographic one, whatever color scheme you're going after. But I mean, who would have thought this is okay, so this holographic comes in 5 different colors. I don't think we would, if I saw this right here, I don't think I would have thought it was the yellow one that I was working on with, here. I guess when you look at it like that, I guess so. But it just, I don't know, there's so many tones in there and those darker streaks like that. It just, I don't know, it baffles me because I haven't been working with this type of holographic before. Okay, so see, let's see it on a couple different axes here. So here's these different axes and how that looks like that. But let's change it on this axis. Like that. It's different, isn't it? I think that would be really cool in a mirror card configuration down here, because when you move things around like that, it would be happening up here and in a reflected area down below. I mean, this is kind of looking like that, but it would be like this to the max like that. Let me see if I have my little, yeah, okay. This is not the time to, like I said, I can wipe this off if I don't get it, but I don't want to get this little kayaker smeared. I usually don't smear them, but it's always like in live demos, where you really don't want to do that. Okay. All right, there we go. Kayaking at night. Kayaking under the lights. Maybe that would be the name of this piece right here. So, I haven't done this for a while. I haven't done these live things right here. Does anyone have a good title for these pieces right here? We're having we're having viewer titled pieces. Look how different that one looks like now. Let me see, let me put this in a good angle like this. What would be a good title for these pieces? God, look at that right there. I don't know. Holographic Nights. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what they look like. Now they look like candles to me or something like that. It's kind of interesting when you put your hand, look at this when you put your hand over it like this. Look at these different colors coming up through here like this. Oh, look at that. All right. Yeah, look like that right there. Okay. I'm geeking out, sorry. I think these are mood cards, you know? I don't know, it's really weird. Look at that. It's like my hand, you know, or, you know, with my fingers like that, it's giving that different patterning in there. I don't know. It's like magic, you know? You're making magic cards right here. Fire and Ice. That's a good name. Sometimes it does sometimes look like a fire, forest fire, doesn't it? Orion's Return, huh? That one's a good one too. I don't know. What do you guys think? I always have it. It's usually where someone seconds a title, you know, that wins. But we'll call it whatever you guys want. I don't know. I don't really have Orion in this one. I should have put Orion in this one. Do you see Orion right here? With that right there and down there. I think, where is that nebula? The nebula is in the belt, right? Orion's Nebula. It wasn't the sword, right? Gosh, I'm already forgetting all these types of things. Yeah, I'm totally geeking out here, Yvonne. It's this, look at this, like here, you know? It's like all that refraction, and that is amazing like that. I don't think that happens. I don't think that happens on this. I mean, it does to an extent. You know, you get those different colors, of course, you know, in the shadows like that. But not like, this is like different, you know? Oh, there it is right there. See that right there? There's like those, each one of those little rainbowy types of things. It's like, it's almost like one of those things where it's like a, you know, you're looking through one of those cameras and then you flip it on to like, you know, infrared or heat, you know, heat sent, you know, heat vision or whatever. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like a different, like we're flipping it off, you know, and seeing these cards under a different whatever parameter or something like that. But look at that, see that little thing like going on in there. It's like that little like spotlight or something like that. It's really bizarre. But I love this type of thing where these cards can give us really different personalities. And I don't know, this one right here is, there's a lot of different personalities in this one. Just depending on, I don't know, whatever the amount of, you know, color that's, or light and shade that's kind of connecting with them. So here's this little guy right in here. Like that. Sometimes it's more the quiet kind of looks, I think, that I like the best in this one right here. I don't like, you know, like, I don't like this here so much, but it's more like, you know, like that I like, which is so bizarre to me because there's so much open space in here like that, you know, where I didn't apply anything, but it's like, I don't know, this paper's like taking care of a lot of the, you know, those darker areas just inherently in the card. I don't know, maybe it removes some of the work for me because, you know, these areas in here I didn't have to tone in. I mean, of course it changes, you know, going like this, but then when that those columns of shadow kind of move around in there and the light moves, you know, the columns also move. So you're already having some kind of inherent oscillation of light and dark across there, you know. Like I said, it's just inherent in the page like that. So maybe we don't have to do so much in there. You just kind of, you know, put more of this containment around on the edges like this, or four corners like that, you know, see it, you know, for the most part. A little bit, you know, coming down this way, but I don't know. I don't think that's probably as important right here. I don't know. You can't see where I've added a little bit darker down here, but yeah, I don't know. So anyways, a lot of the work is done for us, I guess, on these pieces. Stamp and Splatter is the name of these cards. All right, Celebration of Earth. I like that. That one's a good one there. I don't think I've, yeah. That's a different name right there. And I like of that Earth in parentheses. All right, so anyways, enough geeking out. I'm sorry if I didn't read some questions. I was, on this one I was really preoccupied like that. Put a boat in the water. Okay, Karen, I took care of that boat in the water. They weren't abducted by the aliens though, but that would be really cool. This paper, hey, this paper would be awesome for some kind of, can you imagine like a little UFO up here? If I did a UFO or something like that, I would stamp it on a separate piece of paper, color it in, tone it, you know, whatever, shade it, and then I would put it on over the top of this. I would, you know, I would paste it down, I think. And then I would have like this canoeist right here would be just, I think, in the scene or something like that. Because I think a UFO, it would just get completely lost in that type of patterning up there if it wasn't a silhouette-based imagery. But let's see here. Oh, okay, there weren't too many different questions up here. All right, so anyways, good night, everyone. Thanks for joining in. I hope you enjoyed these. I found them quite interesting to work with. I'll try some of these other colors. Like I said, I did this one right here, but I'll try something on there. I can block off, but I just don't think that image in there. I don't know if there's enough contrast between the Lakeside Cove and that background. I think that would, this one right here, this red one, I think would be better with the kind of the boulder or spruce trees down there or something like that. Something nice and solid would be really good. But yeah. Hello, Cheryl. Okay. Thanks again, as always. Thanks for tuning into the channel. And yeah. I'm a little speechless with these right here. I really like the looks right here. I'll do a spray sealing video coming up here sometime soon too. And what I'm hoping is that spray sealing these, we can retain that amount of color transitions that happen inherently within that surface like that. So we don't want to give it too much of a coating. We want to give it a really light coating just to spray seal down those inks on there. And hopefully it keeps the intensity of them as well. But, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing, Kim. It was snowing with the northern lights. Yeah, that would be amazing to see. Haven't seen those northern lights in person, but, you know, what I always tell people is sometimes you stamp what you've seen, and sometimes you stamp someplace you would like to see or be at. And one of the things with kind of doing scenery, you know, we always get lost in the kind of the creative process of, you know, crafting and creating. You know, we start doing crafting or making cards or whatever, and we lose track of time. But one of the things about scenery, I think, is a little bit of an added type of thing, is you can kind of get, I don't know, kind of mentally or emotionally transported into those locations that we're doing, because they're like areas. So, you know, something like for Kim, it, you know, it evokes, you know, or memories of a, you know, a really great memory or something like that. You know, these visuals are, you know, experiences and whatnot. So for me, I don't know, I'm like right in there with that little kayaker. I don't kayak or anything like that, but I don't know. when someone looks at this, it's like, oh, I would like to be there or something like that. You know, this one would be cool with these eagles up here too. They wouldn't be flying at night, but I think it'd be really cool up there. So anyways, more of these experiments to come. I'm really excited to try some of these other papers, and there were much lighter ones. I just went with this one because it was just so kind of extreme like that. This one might be interesting with like I don't know, different colors of you know, areas around the perimeter like that. If they would even show up, I don't know, maybe we would have to go with black. But I don't know, we'll try some other things going forward. But yeah. Okay, thanks again, and we'll see you all on the, hopefully, future live stream. I'll try to schedule something in the future, but this one is like, my son was going to go work out at the parkour gym. It's like, okay, I'm going to go live then. I don't have to get dinner going until like 9 o'clock, so it was stamping time for me. All right, good night, everyone, or good day, whatever time it is for you guys. Good afternoon, morning.